Longtime viewers of the channel know what's coming at them. We are bringing back the commenter challenge to see who can comment the most on this video. Individual comments. Now, the record from our last time we did this back in January was 83 times. I think Ryan Chowdhury set that record. So I want to see if anyone can beat that mark today. Spam the comment section with random Browns players, the alphabet, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, whatever your heart desires. Let's see who can comment the most individual times on today's video, and the top 3, 4, 5 people will get a shout out on a future show. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. On today's show, we're going to talk about a certain star wide receiver who was signing autographs, and a Browns fan came across his table. He's like, you know what? I really wanted to play with them. Plus, we're going to look at some free agency buzz. But Tyreek Hill wanted to be a Cleveland Brown? Well, Tyreek Hill was signing autographs at some event this offseason, and a Browns fan wearing a Deshaun Watson jersey came up to his table, and Tyreek Hill said he wanted to go to Cleveland. Here's what he said in a very tongue-in-cheek sort of just casual manner, so don't take this as hardcore type of, indications. But here's what Tyreek Hill said. They should have paid me, bro. I tried to go to Cleveland. I tried, but they didn't want me. Browns didn't want Tyreek Hill. I don't think it's that simple, okay? I think the Browns would have loved to have the services of Tyreek Hill last year. But remember, Tyreek Hill got traded for a lot to Miami. A first, a second, 2 fourths, and a fifth. So it's not like it's not like the Dolphins gave up next to nothing. It cost a lot to get Tyreek Hill, something the Browns didn't really have, because look at what they gave up to get Deshaun Watson just 5 days beforehand. So they were already out there first-round picks of 2022, 3, and 4, a fourth-rounder. So if Kansas City was not going to move Hill without getting a first back in return, it would have been a 2025 first-round pick. So I don't see a way the Browns actually could have gotten Tyreek Hill via trade. Now, whether it's in free agency at some point in time, look what Tyreek Hill's contract was when he got traded to the Miami Dolphins and signed an extension. 4 years, $120 million, $30 million a season. For reference, Amari Cooper signed a 5-year, $100 million contract. So that's $20 million a season. So Tyreek Hill's making, on average, $10 million more a season. With how much picks it cost Miami to get Tyreek Hill and how much money it cost to pay him, unless Hill wanted to come at some other time in history and not 2022, which I think he is, or at least what I'm assuming and what he's referencing, I see no way the Browns could have done the Tyreek Hill deal and the Deshaun Watson trade, right? I mean, Amari Cooper only cost him a 5th and a 6th round pretty much. For Tyreek Hill, it was a first and 4 more picks and then $30 million a season. Financially, I know the cap Smith and Andrew Berry's a wizard, but Hill and Watson financially at the same time might have been close to impossible, ignoring the trade compensation required to get him, which they also did not have because 5 days earlier, they traded away 3 firsts and more for Deshaun Watson. So I don't know what Tyreek Hill is really getting at here when he says, I tried to go to Cleveland, but they didn't want me. Seems a little odd, but maybe there's more to the story that we don't know. I've got one actual takeaway, though, from this brief little conversation between a fan and Tyreek Hill. Players want to come play with Deshaun Watson. Players are believing in the direction that the Browns are headed. Tyreek Hill, at his age, yeah, he's got his Super Bowl ring, so maybe all he wanted was a payday. But I do think there is a bit of smoke around. People want to come and play with Deshaun Watson. People want to come to Cleveland and play for the Browns. When's the last time we were able to say that for the Cleveland Browns, right? Guys want to come to the land, but guys want to come play with the Browns. That is not something that we have been able to say for a while. So it is great to see, whether it's Tyreek Hill or other players in free agency, that the Browns are on these players' radars more, right? And they are actively looking to play with quarterbacks who are at the top level, like Deshaun Watson. So you can take that home and be like, you know what? I know the Browns didn't get to Tyreek Hill, and that would have been really, really cool and probably impossible. But there is something to players want to come play for the Browns. Let's fucking go. Now, last week we had a sub battle, speaking of the Browns, by the way, with our Steelers and Ravens channel here. Now, the Steelers got out to an early lead, but shout out to everyone who subscribed on Friday, pushing us to a nice even 220 subs this past week. Now, the new sub battle this week, the channels we got assigned to compete with, is Saints Now with Trace Gerard and Bengals Breakdown with Tom Downey. So let's destroy those channels. I want 2 gold medals. Help me out. Hit that sub button, and let's get out to a strong lead early on in this new sub battle this week here at Chat Sports. Now, next up on the show, we've got one more free agent target potentially. I feel like the Browns are not cashed out because after June 1st, when the John Johnson cut goes through, they're going to have in the neighborhood of $17 to $20 million to spend. So it's not like they're broke after spending a lot in free agency. But one target, Ryan Neal. So the Orange and Browns report, Jack Duffin, great Twitter follow, suggested signing Ryan Neal. Now, the Seahawks originally put a tender on Neal, 1 year, $2.6 million, right? A team could match that, sort of like Dearness Johnson last year. But they removed that tender from him. So could the Browns be looking for a third safety potentially, right? Ryan Neal last year for Seattle, going into the year, was not scheduled to be one of their big impact players on defense, let alone even a starter. But he stepped into that role nicely once Jamal Adams got hurt, and he did very well in it. Now, we're going to look at more Ryan Neal stats and highlights in just a second. But the NFL draft is less than a month away. It's April. It is draft month. We're going to be ramping up our draft coverage here at the channel, but make sure you're also wearing the same official draftee hat this year when you go to chatsports.com/Browns hat. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show. I'm going to be getting one. Rock it with me. Get the official Cleveland Browns draft hat when you use our link. So going back to Jack Duffin, here's what he tweeted out that sort of got the ball rolling on the idea of signing Neal. Ryan Neal should be the Browns' number 1 target for their third safety. Forced incompletions, 16%, 16 out of 95. PFF defensive grade, 4th out of 93. Now, Brad Stainbrook, it was a bit of a rain cloud to Jack Duffin's idea of signing Ryan Neal because he tweeted out, Browns aren't in the market for safety Ryan Neal as of now. Now, as of now, could change, right? Maybe the Browns are doing some smoke screens here. I mean, nothing's ever a guarantee when it comes to what team beat reporters tweet out. But Ryan Neal last year for Seattle, you can't deny it. He had a very good season. 8 pass breakups, 1 interception, 4 tackles for loss. I mean, those are really good numbers for any safety, let alone a safety that was not the starter going into the year and played his ass off. Now, when you look at the Browns safety room here, could it use an extra safety? Maybe. They're going to roll with 4 safeties. I feel very confident with Thornhill, Delpit, and Bell. Bolden is more or less a camp body right now that's going to battle to make the 53, and he's going to have some competition once August rolls around. Personally, I'd rather go the cheaper route. It's not like, Ryan Neal's going to cost you much. 1 year vet minimum type of deal, most likely. But I'd rather see what we have in DeAnthony Bell, right? Draft a rookie and let Bell and the rookie compete for that third safety job because you're going to have DeAnthony Bell for longer. Or if you draft a rookie, you'll have him for 4 years at least. And you could sign Ryan Neal to a 1-year contract. But after 1 year, you're kind of right back to where you started right now of looking for a third safety. Why not see what you have in your own backyard with your homegrown talent? Draft a safety, roll with DeAnthony Bell. Cheaper, yes, but it's not even so much about the savings. It's more about we can't build a 53-man roster through free agency and trades. It's just not going to be a long-lasting type of method. You got to hit on some draft picks. So without a first, without a second, you still got 8 picks in this draft. Use one of them on a safety, right? Let the best guy win the job between him, Bell, and Bolden, and someone else if you want to draft, or another UDFA. But I'd rather see them kind of reset the clock a little bit, at least at some spots, because they're not at other spots, and that's okay with me. but don't do that for all 53-man roster positions. Now, what say you, though? Should the Browns sign Ryan Neal? Yes or no? Is that best for 2023? Maybe. Is it best for the next 2 to 3 seasons? Probably not. So I'm going to go with no, but if you say yes, I don't really disagree all that wholeheartedly because he is a really good safety still in the market right now for what they're looking for in terms of a third safety. But I kind of want to see what they have in DeAnthony Bell, who I thought played nicely when he kind of took that job over from Ronnie Harrison as the third safety down the stretch last season. That's going to do it for us on today's show. If you have not already, hit me up on Twitter. Share this video on Twitter. No one does it better than Joshua Miller. Tag me on Twitter. That way I know you did so I can give you a shout out. But at Matthew Petey for all things Browns.